Let's go, Derwin James. Woo!
Yeah, buddy! We got the pass on! We got the pass on! Hey, y'all know what we got to do, man. It's the opportunity. Let's go, man. First one in here now. Hey, I'll wait on three, man. I'll wait on three. 1, 2, 3.
What's going on, dudes and dudettes? Shorter video today, but some big ass news just happened, especially for my LA Chargers. So, yes, you've been hearing a lot about their star defensive player, Derwin James, going through a contract dispute or negotiation as of right now for an extension on his rookie deal. Took a little bit longer than most, but he's actually some of the quicker ones than others because he still has at least a couple weeks to still get ready before the NFL season starts. And luckily he did agree to a new deal with the Chargers. It is a 4-year extension of $76.4 million exactly. He's going to get $42 million guaranteed, which is one of the highest, and his average per year is going to be $19.1 million as well, which is also still making him the highest paid safety contract of all time in the NFL, which is obviously awesome because the Chargers willing to pay certain guys as they have been recently. Joey Bosa, when his contract was up, he was the highest paid defensive end at the time. Same thing with their center, Corey Linsley. The free agency a couple years ago, they named him the highest paid center, so they had done this with the safety position as well. So I'm very happy and very excited that he is returning. He is definitely the Swiss Army knife that every team wants on their defensive side, and he could play at every position. He's not just a safety alone. He can play corner if you need him to, nickel, down on the line, almost like a little bit of a smaller linebacker as well. He's just very explosive, very athletic, very awesome, and as long as he can stay healthy, and especially the other top guys that they did end up getting in free agency, I think this could be a very special year for my LA Chargers. I know a lot of people still not really believe in the hype, and even I'm like still kind of not really willing to get into it as much, but this was definitely a big chess piece that they had to get done, and luckily, like I said, it was done early enough to where they can just relax, go into the season, and just play football. Because as of right now, there's no one else on the team that's really waiting to get a big contract. So this was the big one out of the way. Still probably have some money to do some trades or sign some people later in the year. You never know. But yeah, overall, very ecstatic, very happy about this situation. And yes, definitely looking forward to what he could do this year. And then, yes, big news yesterday, if you saw my live reaction to it, USC did get a commit from a 3-star offensive lineman up there in Northern California in Alani Noa. He's about 6'4", over 300 pounds. He's freakishly athletic too, even at that size. They say he's most likely going to play guard center-ish, but he could move outside as well to play one of the tackle positions. He is just that athletic. And even though he's considered a 3-star at this moment, he is still going to play his senior year up there in NorCal this season coming out for high school, and they're most likely projecting him to be a 4-star recruit once he ends up going to USC in the final recruiting for them in that cycle for next year. So overall, this is definitely a big get, especially when they recently got Micah Benuelos as well, Amos Talele, a lot of really good guys on the offensive line who aren't considered, as of this very second, highly rated, but they will be once they finish their senior season. And it's definitely going to look like a really awesome offensive line class, and maybe we can persuade the other top guys who decided to go to Oregon or Miami, a couple of those guys recently, that maybe USC is the correct place to come and play on the offensive line with some really talented players. So overall, love what Lincoln Riley and John Henson, the offensive line coach, are doing in recruiting. It's just funny how everybody was upset when Clay Helton would get players like this, but it's because, yeah, he would get 3 stars, maybe sometimes 4-star offensive linemen, and people would be like, why aren't you getting the 5-star? And people were complaining and freaking out that Riley wasn't doing that as well. They were swinging and missing on a couple of really talented guys, but these guys also are very talented, and Clay Helton at sometimes just got a lot more unknown players to a lot of people, and kind of questionable players as well, which is why people were hitting on him more. But yet there's still these crazy sycophantic USC fans that are still upset that he wasn't able to get some of those other top guys, but you never know. Could still happen. Then, yes, the Chargers waived 5 players the other day. After a certain point, you have to keep knocking down your roster, certain players, so you have to take out at least 5 guys. You never know. They could have added a couple of guys who might have been let go of other teams, and they have to let more guys go to see if they could work out with their team. You never know. But they did release wide receiver Maurice French, quarterback Brandon Peters, safety Skylar Thomas, and 2 guys that were released because of injury. I don't know what's the difference. They were still released. It's not like you're going to come back, but I guess due to injury was defensive lineman Forrest Merrill, who I thought was getting a lot of good hype, so he might end up going back on the practice squad at some point or back on the roster. And then center Isaac Weaver, who I never really heard about, which is kind of interesting. So, yeah, I had to cut down just like everybody else in the NFL, see what else can happen after this week. Pretty sure after this weekend of games, you have to cut down even more players. So we'll see who gets let go at that time. And then USC basketball recently released their non-conference schedule. Pretty much a lot of the same people on there: Auburn, Colorado State. Kind of surprising. They did add a couple easy ones in the beginning: Florida Gulf Coast and Alabama A&M, something like that. And they did also put up there that they are playing both Cal and Oregon State in their non-conference period, which is kind of weird because you usually have about 7 to 10 games before you start your conference games to kind of like build you up for your conference play. And for some reason, they had to throw them in there, but I guess it's just scheduling conflicts, and that's just how it had to go. So overall, it would be pretty weird to see those guys that early, but you obviously have to get up and play those games so you're not down in your division or conference standings as well. So see how that goes. And then finish off with some miscellaneous news. Yes, I don't know if you know the free app streaming site where you could watch, like, I think some TV maybe, but it's usually like shows or movies, not really well known, some known stuff, but I think you watch with ads and stuff like that for free. They're called Tubi, and apparently they've ordered an adults animated comedy called Breaking Bear, a series from Tom DeLonge is actually one of the producers, which is pretty crazy because I know a lot of stuff he's doing and I never really heard about this that's happening. And I guess another producer is a guy who's been recently doing the newer redone Creep Show shows as well. So, I mean, they got some known people working on this show, and I guess it's like a adult animated comedy. I think I read that it's kind of like about animals or bears doing drugs. I guess that's why it's Breaking Bear, like Breaking Bad, sort of stuff like that. So that's why it's an adult comedy. Should be pretty interesting just to see what it can do. And obviously, if it's going on Tubi, doesn't mean it's going to be that crazy. But I think even like the Workaholics guys did within the past year or two something for Tubi as well, an animated series. So you never know, could end up being a big thing. So overall, definitely pretty excited for this news from Tom DeLonge as well. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, fight on. Let's go, Derwin James. Woo!